Hello, Nickel here. Do you remember that one trailer where Wiglett was revealed? How it's something unique and new, not just another regional form? They made it like an actual documentary about a newly discovered animal. Scientists would talk about it and theorize about what it really is. Well, let me tell you, it's really nothing to be proud of in hindsight. Okay, maybe you ask yourself, why? It's just what they said, a Pokemon that resembles Diglett but isn't. In the trailer they said it coincidentally evolved to look like it. The community labeled them as Convergently evolved Pokemon. So in fact, there is no official media labeling them as such. Anyway, are they even convergently evolved Pokemon in the first place? Or is the community wrong about that assumption? First of all, what is convergent evolution? In short form, convergent evolution describes the phenomenon of an animal, or in this case Pokemon, that evolved similar features or a similar morphology to another one of a different species. This usually happens due to them occupying the same ecological niche, aka their living circumstances are mostly the same, so they evolve similar features. This happens because in order to survive, evolution strives for the most optimal body plan that allows him to be most efficient for the specific role in the ecosystem. For example, take the Ichthyosaurus and the dolphin. Both occupy the same ecological niche. Their body plan is eerily similar. Their body, for example, is streamlined to allow for high-speed chases, and their snout is long and thin to better catch prey and break the water. Both lived during different periods of times, which, one of the rules for convergent evolution, contributed to these similarities. After the Ichthyosaurus, a marine reptile, died out, other species were able to occupy the same niche, which then later led to, for example, the dolphin, a mammal, taking the former's place. In other words, despite their looks, they are not related in the slightest, but rather the evolutionary pressure led to them to evolve the most optimal body plan for their lifestyle. Convergent evolution can also be seen in animals that live similarly or evolve traits that are alike, such as the ability to fly, which for example evolved independently in insects and birds. Okay, now that that's out of the way, back to Pokemon. So let's take a look at Wiglett and Diglett. Does the same apply here? For this, kinda yes. Wiglett is supposed to be a garden eel, while Diglett is based on a mole. Their body plan is similar and their reasoning makes sense, I guess, in a way. Though reading the Pokédex entries, Wiglett's reasons are a bit more clear as Diglett. If anything, it doesn't really make sense that Digletts go outside of caves and should really be mostly in caves or just being underground. It doesn't make sense why it would be so out and about all the time. So why do we even find it outside of caves? Regardless, here comes the more damning problem. Why did two Pokemon in two different ecosystems evolve exactly the same? For all I know, this doesn't really happen. Evolving similar traits? Yes, multiple Pokemon can dig and both have good reasonings for them burrowing underground, but to look exactly the same and to top it all off, live in the same region? That doesn't really make sense now. Look, even mimicry wouldn't explain that. There are cases where prey animals mimic the look of other prey or even predators for defensive purposes, but this doesn't apply here. But hey, it's not so bad, is it? I mean, it's serviceable for convergent evolution. Although there is another one even more maddening to think about. Toedscool. Why the hell does a mushroom evolve to look similar to a jellyfish? There is absolutely no reason for it to be that way. There's no benefit to it. It can't even be mimicry, cause there are no tentacle on Paldea. At least Toedscool talks about its tentacles and how it uses them to ensnare victims. Toedscool instead just talks about it running so good. Now why the hell are these Pokemon not Paldean Forms? There is no good reason for them not to be. Maybe you think, oh well, they wanted to include some interesting ideas based on real biology. Well, Game Freak knows they're just coincidentally similar at least. While this is possible in nature, though unlikely the way they did it, having it in a game is just lazy creature design. Though these forms are not convergent evolved forms. Not even Game Freak thinks that. We don't have convergently evolved Pokemon. Oh, wait, no! They already did that! You remember what convergent evolution is, right? Then surely you understand that Staraptor and Crobat, for example, are Pokemon that convergently evolved without Game Freak preying on your nostalgia. Convergent evolution doesn't mean that they have to look exactly the same. It just means that their overall body plan is the same. And preying on your nostalgia is just what Game Freak did here. That is all there is to it. Why create Paldean forms that aren't Paldean forms? So you can make marketing around them. Why, instead of making them unique and at least have them evolve into different things instead of just making clones of the already existing evolutions? Because people love seeing what they already like. It's just a bit different, so you like it more. There's no excuse for them not to be Paldean forms. Not even their stats are different. What the hell, Game Freak? They would make great Paldean forms actually. And you don't even have to make much excuses. Wiglett could be a Diglett that just adapted to living on shorelines. Toedscool could be a Tentacool that couldn't survive in the oceans due to some reason, like being outhunted, becoming prey to a common species. So they just evolved living on the shores at first, later went into the forests and started a mutual coexistence with fungi and became what they are now. Why not just do that? It's such a lazy attempt. It feels like you had a really cool idea for a type of form, but then just honestly half-assed it and made two and then just went on to different things. And that's the problem here. They just made two. It's just two. Like, what is this even for? Unless the DLC spurts out more, which hopefully would be much more accurate to the idea, it's completely pointless. And it's just a new type of Pokemon for the sake of having something to put in the trailer. The worst thing is, now that these aren't Paldean forms, we have two new Paldean forms. Now let me tell you, they were not the most creative designs. We got Black Taurus and Brown Wooper. Congratulations. This Taurus was just painted black. There are almost no unique changes to it, which is honestly really sad. Oh, by the way, this isn't Paldean Taurus. It's just a regular Taurus I painted black. Did you realize that? Regional forms in Alola, you know, when they were first introduced, were not as lazy as these. And even if they were, for example like Diglett, we got like 10. So if one's kinda lazy, it's fine. Having only two and having them be that just a color swap is such lazy character design. I mean, look at this bull. And it's supposed to be on par with these forms? Corsola, Marowak, and even Sandshrew, which is basically just a white Sandshrew, but has so much more changes to its design beyond the color. I know Paldean Taurus has two more forms, but why does it even need those? Why did they have to make 3 different forms, of which one is absolutely pointless? And did you even know? All of them have the same exact stat line and abilities. Oh, and don't hope to change the form in any way, that's not possible. Why not just have the 2 forms and have them more unique? Keep them version exclusive, but make the Violet form more bulky and slower. You can even have them behave differently in the overworld, like a water buffalo, as in what Taurus Aqua breed is based off. But no, rather have a pointless regular form with little to no changes. Come on, at least put in some effort. Create 4 unique forms with actual differences instead of this lazy ripoff. There's no good reason for them to create 3 forms that are exactly the same except for appearance and the typing. Scratch the lazy combat form and make the other 2 stand out more. I mean, I guess it's for hunting, like if you want to hunt the other 2 form, and yeah, it's so cool, there's this different Taurus. What's the point of this? This is just an excuse. It's just an excuse to be lazy. It just doesn't make sense. If you want to hunt a rare Taurus, you would hunt the shiny anyway. These Paldean forms are horribly lazy. And the only reason they don't get hate is just cause it's a black Taurus and a freaking Wooper. Love Clotsar, by the way, no hate to it, it's amazing. I like these Pokemon. Just like most people do, but come on, do a little more effort, please. Let's be real, if it would have been a piss yellow electric type Taurus, everybody would have flipped. The black bull is cool though, so people are okay with it. And Wooper gets a pass for Clotsire, and hey, it's Wooper. Not all new forms are bad though. For example, take the Paradox forms. They're a great concept. I expect Game Freak to elaborate on them in future DLC as well. With all we know so far, it's pretty likely. I love how they took the past forms and really made them feel like a prehistoric form of the existing Pokémon. They do feel like they're from a different era. And the same for the future forms. They all feel sci-fi and each of them feels like a optimized chrome life form. Because, you know, everything in the future is made of chrome.
Everything is chrome in the future.
Oh my. Impossible. He's lying. He's right.
I really like how they are from different times as well. They are not just all from a specific era, they are all from different periods. If you read the books in a school library, you can find out the periods of times for something. The only thing about them I kinda dislike is the power creep they made for competitive Pokemon. They are all massively powerful, which makes sense in a way. They come from tougher times or are the optimized form of their species. It just sucks that new forms nowadays feel like they have to be extremely powerful. Partially it's probably for the story as well, as they are kind of boss monsters in the story. It's just a little thing I do not really like. Nonetheless, they are some of the best things they've done in this game. They really feel fitting and are a great addition to Pokemon. But it really feels like they ignored the other forms they introduced just for them. No, not so many new Paldean forms, and the Paldean form that aren't really Paldean forms are pretty much a waste of time. I'm really just glad they didn't drop the ball on all other ones, right? They didn't, right?